Good evening. Good Wednesday to you. Good midweek to you, wherever you are on this planet. Greetings to the 12 tribes of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the so-called ADOS, the so-called black and brown people. Greetings to you who are into the four corners of the earth, scattered through persecution. Greetings to you. Greetings to those that are not of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whose ancestors are not descendants of slaves, but who understand that there's a true God and want to serve the true God, the only true God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Greetings. Greetings to you all who understand that something is wrong. Something's wrong on this planet. Things are not right. And you're looking for things to become right. Greetings. Greetings to you in the name of the Father, Yah, and of the Son, the Hebrew Messiah, the line of the tribe of Judah, Yahushua Mashiach. Greetings. Brothers, sisters, shalom to those in the chat. Shalom to Yah. Shalom, Sister Heather Batak. Karatz Isha. Brothers and sisters, let me read the scripture. Let's start off with the word. Psalm 62 is what was in my heart. Psalm 62. Now, brothers and sisters, I would go into Psalm 62. I want to explain some things to you. Now, this Wednesday night Bible study was started as a result of the coronavirus. The Most High, we had not been doing Wednesday night. We had been doing, and we still do, Friday night, Sabbath morning at 11 Eastern time. And then after that, probably around 1 o'clock Sabbath afternoon. We have been doing that for years. Then this corona came out, and the Most High impressed me to begin doing a Wednesday night. Now, I don't know how long I'm going to do the Wednesday night for. I do things by the grace of the Most High, literally, and by his unction, literally. When it's time to stop, it stops. If it's keep going, it keep going. Okay? I was just talking to a good friend of mine today who's not understanding who he is as an Israelite, but I was talking today, and we were talking about retirement, because I'm about 5 or 6 years from the age when somebody should be retiring. I ain't got no money. And that's all good. I'm not worried about that. But we were talking about that and where we would like to retire. And I told him that, one of my best friends is from Ghana, known this brother like 30 years. And we've been talking about, he goes to Ghana almost every year. And he's been asking me every year to go with him. And I've been saying I want to go, but I have never gone. Okay. So we're planning on going to Ghana by the grace of the Most High next spring or summer, depending if it's the Most High's will. And that was the point. I told him I'd like to go to Ghana because I can retire on my Social Security in Ghana. Okay. And my wife's Social Security, we could retire in Ghana and live on our Social Security. But then again, I said to him, really, truly, honestly, but if I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know where I'm gonna be, because I know every place I've been, the Most High has sent me. Right now I'm in the Washington, D.C. area, and he sent me here. And so I could make plans about where I go, but that doesn't matter, because I end up going where the Most High leads me. Okay. And brothers and sisters, that is the point. Let me tell you something. Peace, time out. Let me tell you something. We are in the last days of the history of this planet as we know it. The kingdom of the Messiah is soon to be established. You remember, the disciples asked Messiah before his ascension in Acts chapter 1. We can be in Psalm 62, so we'll wait right here for a second. But I'm just telling you, in Acts chapter 1, they asked Messiah, they said, Lord, at this time wilt thou restore the kingdom to Israel? That was their question. They said, at this time wilt thou restore the kingdom to Israel? And his answer to them was interesting. He said, it is not for you, my 12, my 11 at that time, to know the times or the seasons which the Father has put in his own power. Okay. In other words, it wasn't going to be restored in their time. Messiah knew that. Okay. But in our time where we live, the kingdom is about to be restored. Okay. It's about to be restored. Now, one of the tenets, one of the tests, if you will, and we've talked about this before, when you come to the truth of the Most High, when you come to his truth, see, you come by conviction. And when you come by conviction to the truth of the Most High, you get tested. You do. You get tested. Listen. Y'all remember, Messiah was tested. Was he not? I mean, aside from his 33 and a half years of perfect obedience to the Father, aside from that, he was tested 40 days in the wilderness with no food. Y'all remember that, right? He didn't eat nothing for 40 days. Tested and tempted. And 40 is the number of testing. Of course, we know 2027 is the 40th Jubilee from when the Messiah made the announcement of in AD 27, when his ministry had started. 40 Jubilee is 2027, but that's another point. But my point to you all, as Job was tested, every last one of us who follow the truth are going to be tested. Some of us have already been tested. Y'all know what I'm talking about already. And there's going to be more tests coming. And what is the test about? It's not complicated. That's what I love about the Father. That's what I love about Yah. He never makes anything complicated. It's simple. It's a direct, straight line. And the only question is, are we going to answer the call? Because he makes it simple. And this is the test. Are you going to trust him? That's always the test. Because our father, Adam, failed to trust him. You see, Eve, she took of the forbidden fruit first. And let me tell you something while I'm on that subject real quick. It don't matter what kind of fruit it was. The Bible never tells you that it was an apple or what fruit it was. But that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because the command was, don't eat it. That was the command. Don't eat it. Doesn't matter if it was a banana, a grape, or apple. It doesn't matter what it was. It was the command that was important. Don't eat it. Okay? And so she left her husband and went and ate the fruit. That was a problem, but it wasn't the biggest problem. Because you understand this, brethren, and this is what some people don't understand, don't want to understand. That's what I'm finding out today. It's not that people don't understand. People don't want to understand. But the Bible tells us very plainly, Adam was made in the image of Father Yah. Eve was made in the image of Adam. Let me say that again. Adam was made in the image of Father Yah. Eve was made in the image of Adam. She was to be subservient to her husband. He was to be subservient to the Father. And the Father intended that Adam's character would be of a character of righteousness like the Father. And he would reveal that character to Eve. So when she bit of the forbidden fruit, she shouldn't have did that. Yeah, she messed up. Yeah, her life was done. But he should have stuck firm to the Father. And he didn't. So ever since then, brethren, you and I will be tested on our trust in the Father. He was hurt by what Adam did. And so he demands all his children. When the Bible says he chastens all his sons, that's a test. All of us must be tested as to our allegiance to the Father. And let me tell you something. It's based on conviction. I cannot prove scientifically that there's a Father in the third heaven and that there is a third heaven and that there's a heavenly sanctuary there, and that he dwells there, and that he's the Ancient of Days, and that he sits on the throne. I can't prove that scientifically, but I don't need to, because I'm convicted that it's true. And conviction is all that matters. Okay? Whether you convicted is true or not is not my business, nor my problem. My business and my problem is I'm convicted. Therefore, I must trust that Father and his word, which I believe is the King James Bible. And I'm going to be tested on my conviction, and I'm telling you, you're getting ready to be tested. You're going to be tested on your conviction. And this is much deeper than we understand. This is much deeper than we understand. Psalm 62. Shalom, Mark. Shalom, Laura. Shalom, Chen. Shalom, Tramel. Shalom, Don. Shalom, Heather. Shalom, Junior. Shalom, Vidal. Psalm 62. Truly, the scripture says, my soul waiteth upon Yah. From him cometh my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain, all of you, as a bowing wall shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Salah. My soul, wait thou only upon Yah, for my expectation cometh from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. Remember that. We may talk more about that. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. In Yah is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in Yah. Boy, verse 8. When I first read this, it was I want to say it was 83. When I first read, I read it before that because I read the Bible through when I was 15, but I just read it through to do it. I didn't remember hardly any of it. It was an exercise, but the Most High had it in my heart. But when I was conscious, I was 22 in 1983, and this hit me. Trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. Yah is a refuge for us. Brothers and sisters, we're going to be tested on this by the Most High. If you're not already, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And you must pass the test to enter the kingdom. That's the thing. It ain't just waving your hand and believing in white Jesus. No. You got to pass the test of trust. Okay? To enter the kingdom. Because he said, the affliction shall not rise up a second time. There's not going to be another rise up of sin. It's not going to happen again. And he's going to make sure everybody that enters into that kingdom for him, trust him. Okay? Trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. Yah is a refuge for us. Salah. Surely men of low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie. To be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. Verse 10 is what we're talking about tonight. Trust not in oppression. Become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. Yah has spoken once, yea, twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto Yah. Also unto thee, O Master, belongeth mercy. For thou renderest to every man according to his work. Trust not in oppression. That means don't trust in being an oppressor, and please don't trust in the oppressor. The Bible says, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Now, as Israelites, especially you Israelites that are of color, you ADOS out here. Now, you grafted in Israelites, you will understand this too, because many of you grafted in Israelites, the reason you guys came to this truth, you have been oppressed also. I don't know no middle upper class people that come to this truth. I don't know any. I don't think they'll ever come. I don't think no rich or no upper middle class people are going to come to this truth from the Caucasians. I don't think that's going to happen. But those of you who have been chewed up by this system, those of you who have been humbled by this system, you've been on the balls of your behind like I have, and like many Israelites have, though you be a Caucasian, and you come to this truth, you know what you understand. Okay, the Bible says that the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And y'all, some of y'all understand. Okay, now the Bible says, "Envy not the oppressor, choose none of his ways." And that also we know from Revelation chapter 12 that the devil deceiveth the whole world. We know that. And we also know that the world worships him and doesn't realize what they're doing. Okay, because this is his system that he created. Okay, now let's just go back to Abraham Lincoln. Now we could go back 2,000 years. We could, but let's just go back to Abraham Lincoln, because that's recent history in terms of the eternal father. That's recent history, right? 1,000 years are like a day to him. So we go back to Abraham Lincoln, 1863, what we talking? 240, 257 years? Okay, that's recent history to the eternal father that we serve. 1863, Abraham, man. And of course, the father had ordained the whole Civil War to punish the Caucasians. 500,000 Caucasians died during the Civil War. That's more than World War I, World War II. That's more than Korea, Vietnam. That's more than Afghanistan. That's more than Iraq. 500,000 American Caucasians perished in the Civil War. And they perished ugly, like having limbs cut off with no anesthesia and dying and breathing in pain. They died some serious stuff. And that was because of their oppression of Yah's chosen. I don't care what anybody tells you. It was to get them chains off on them. Now, Abraham Lincoln wasn't no hero. We thought he was. That's the point. We thought he was. When he signed the Emancipation Proclamation, slaves were rejoicing. Why? Because they were free from the chains. Okay, they were rejoicing. They were free from the chains. Of course, the rejoicing wouldn't last long because Jim Crow was coming. They just didn't realize it. But Abraham Lincoln did not sign the Emancipation Proclamation because he loved us. Let me say it again. Abraham Lincoln did not sign the Emancipation Proclamation because he loved us. Why did he sign it? Because he needed us. What did he need us for? Because them rebels was going to kick behind of the Union. Them rebels in the South was fighting for their money. They was fighting to keep their money. And they were going to fight to the death. And Abraham Lincoln was scared, so he told the slaves, I'm going to set you free. And I'm going to give you 40 acres and a mule when we win this war. So the brothers, being oppressed as they were, and at that time they had been oppressed for more than 250 years. Free labor for 250 years. So they went out and fought like tigers, baby. And the Union crushed the South. Crushed it. And during the course of the Reconstruction, now the place was in shambles. Okay, South was in shambles. It was destroyed. South was finished. Atlanta was burned to the ground. Okay, New Orleans destroyed. Okay, places in Charlotte, in North Carolina, South Carolina, and destroyed. Virginia destroyed. So now they needed to rebuild. That time period is called the Reconstruction. And they needed us, that is, the ADOS, to help rebuild. Well, during this time, while we was rebuilding, they were treating us all right. We became senators, congressmen, mayors, governors, landowners. But then once the place was rebuilt, Andrew Johnson became president. Click, 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 them chains came right back. Okay? Because they didn't need us anymore. Not for that. They deceived us and put us under debt. Debt is how they got us. Okay, because we were ignorant, didn't know this system, just like the Bible said, we in our enemy's land, don't speak their language, don't know their culture. We wasn't into it, and they put us in debt. They said, oh, we're gonna give you land. And we finally, oh, but you owe us. And we could never get out of that debt of what we owed them after 250 years of free labor. Then came World War I. They were scared. Them Caucasians were scared because them Germans wasn't playing. So they asked us, yo, help us in this war, and you'll prove that you're Americans. So brothers did. Signed up, went and fought in World War I like banshees, kicked them Germans behind, came back home, and many of them were strung up on trees in their uniforms because they were finished with us. We had done what we needed to do for them, and it was over. Then came the Depression. Of course, we was already suffering, so it wasn't no big deal to us, but we've been suffering already. 300 years by now. But them Caucasians was catching it. 1929, they was catching it. So here come Roosevelt. Roosevelt was a rich Caucasian man. Okay? And his rich buddy said, what we going to do? See, they wasn't suffering. You know, people like Rockefeller and Carnegie, they wasn't suffering. They was living large still. But there was enough Americans suffering that they was like, they might be a revolution up in here. So let's give them something. Keep them quiet. So Roosevelt came up with the New Deal. Okay, 1933, came up with the New Deal. Okay, and it alleviated the frustration of the Caucasian. Of course, we who are Hebrews, we didn't catch no New Deal for a minute. We wasn't buying no house for a minute. We wasn't getting no Social Security for like 30 years after that. That gave the Caucasians a generational head start on home ownership. Multi-generational head start on home ownership. We know nothing about it. We know what we got. Red line is what we got. Ghetto is what we got. And that type of thing continued. They use us until, you know, as they need us. And then when they finish with us, you know, back to the field with you. And that continued. Civil rights movement was the same. So that brings me to where we are today. Where we are right now. Now, first, I want to let you know the Bible says, envy thou not the oppressor. Let me find that scripture for you. I think it's Proverbs 4. Proverbs chapter 4, if I'm not mistaken, but I want to make sure I got it. So let me find that for you, okay? Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Bear with your brother. I'm gonna find it. Yeah, it's Proverbs 3:31. Proverbs 3:31. It says, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Okay. And then we just read Psalm 62, where it says, trust not in oppression, right? And the Bible tells us that as Hebrews, we would be oppressed in our enemy's land. So they are always trying to oppress us, exploit us, always, 100% of the time. Don't ever forget that. And that's the point of tonight's lesson. Don't forget who you are or where you are. Our fathers in the past have forgotten, both in this country and before that. In Egypt, Prime brought his father and the 70 souls up there, and they lived nice for a while Joseph was alive. Then after Joseph died, another Pharaoh came and put our brothers, our fathers in slavery again. Oppressed them Use them. Okay, until the Most High set us free again, and led by Moses, he set us free again, right? Because they started thinking they was Egyptians, and there was 10 plagues in Egypt, and the first 3 hit us as well as the Egyptians. Why? Because there's the wake up call. You're not Egyptian. They had the wake up call. Okay, and we have had wake up calls here. We just, we keep forgetting the wake up calls. Okay, first was the Emancipation Proclamation itself. Then it was the Reconstruction and Jim Crow. Okay, we should have understood then. Then World War I, World War II, Vietnam. We always trying to prove ourselves to them, and they always using us for what they need, and then done. Okay. After they dug us out, throwing crack in our neighborhoods, redlining our neighborhoods, oppressing our brothers, then they say we lazy after we work for them for free for 300 years. Then they give us a little bone and think, oh, we helped you. That's where we are now. Listen to me carefully. Brothers and sisters, when we first did this COVID Bible study, watch carefully now. I told y'all, some of y'all can go back to March when we started these Bible studies. Go back to March. I told you a lot of people are going to die, and I told you it's not going to be for long. I told you that. Now, if you've been paying attention recently, they come out with a vaccine. They come out with a vaccine. Have y'all heard about the vaccine? Now, you and I, those of us that are of the truth, we know what the vaccine's about, don't we? We know what the vaccine's about, but I want to give you some scripture because, brothers and sisters, again, I want you to understand something. I told you, as we are getting closer to the established, okay, the Father's kingdom is going to be established, or should I say, Father has appointed Messiah to have the kingdom. It's going to be established at the expense of this kingdom. This kingdom is going to be destroyed, completely annihilated and destroyed. And a new kingdom is going to be established. It's going to be a new government running the earth. It's going to be the government of Messiah, the monarchy of the King of righteousness. Praise the Most High. Now, Mark chapter 16. I told you in the beginning of this lesson tonight, we're going to be and are being and going to continue to be tested on our trust in the Father. You and I going to continually be tested. We're going to be tried. We're going to be searched by his Spirit. Will we stand? Well, we'll see. That's what we're praying for. We're praying to stand. We got to pray to stand. We're praying for strength of righteousness of his Spirit to stand. Watch. Mark chapter 16. Mark chapter 16. I'm going to begin at verse 15 because I think this is one of those scriptures, verses that are completely misunderstood. And he said unto them, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Now, first of all, when he said preach the gospel to every creature, he's not talking about just anybody. The disciples at this time, when they heard these words, they knew and understood that he was talking about Israelites who had already been scattered throughout the earth and was going to be scattered more. And again, I want to bring up the point that it wasn't until Acts chapter 10 that Peter, who we know in Hebrew as Kapha, was told to bring the gospel to some Gentiles. That was the first time. They had never thought about it before that. So when Messiah is talking to them right here, he's talking to his Hebrew disciple brothers. And he's saying, go ye into all the world, preach the gospel to every creature. He's talking about all the Israelites scattered. And a creature, he could be talking about a dog, right? A creature could be anything, right? I can't preach the gospel to a dog. That'd be stupid. You don't understand what I'm talking about. Okay? Or a cat or a tree or a bug. No. He's talking about Israelites. Now, later on, he sent the apostle Paul after Kapha to give this message to Gentiles about the Hebrew Israelite. And the gospel is not white Jesus, raise your hand and be saved. The gospel, as we know, is the revealing of Father Yah, the God of Israel's righteousness in those who are repentant. That's the gospel. The revelation of Messiah, the Father through Messiah of the Father's righteousness, according to Romans chapter 1 and 17. Continue reading. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name they shall cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents. If they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. Let me read that again. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name they shall cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents. If they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. Do you all believe that? Do you believe that the Father has a perfect spirit of righteousness that can accomplish this? Because it's not on you and me, it's on his spirit. And it's on us to trust him and his spirit. Because this is where the vaccine comes in. See, it's up my mind. I'm going to tell you straight, I don't want to take the vaccine. My plan is to not take it. I don't want to take the vaccine. My plan is to not take it. Okay. And I kind of believe they're going to allow that. They probably have me wear a mask if I have to go to a work or whatever because I didn't take the vaccine. I'll probably have to wear a mask. I have no problem with that. And let me tell you something. Generally speaking, the government doesn't force. The way the system works, see, the system of deception does not work by forcing you to do stuff. Y'all think it will. Like the mark of the beast is not going to be something that you got to force people to take. People will be begging for it. That's how deception works. Deception works to get the sucker or to get the deceived into asking for the oppression, into asking for the deception. That's how it works. Okay, that's how it works. So mostly Black and brown people have been affected by this COVID, right? So when they bring out the vaccine, they'll be asking, they'll be begging for this vaccine to be injected into their bodies. See, nobody had to force them. Okay. But even if they did, the scripture's telling us don't worry about it. If they force you, don't worry about the vaccine. Father Spirit can overcome a daggone vaccine. You understand what I'm saying? You shall drink deadly things and it shall not hurt you. Okay. So we try to avoid the vaccine. Okay. But if they come at you and say, you're going to lose your job unless you take this vaccine, like they're trying to force you, don't worry about the vaccine. You hear what I'm saying? Okay? Because that's my plan. I'm trying to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm saying I don't want to take the vaccine. I'm going to tell them my conscience won't let me take the vaccine. But if they say, brother, you'll be unemployed tomorrow unless you take this shot. Okay? Father will keep me. I'm not, see, the thing is, but what's the worst that can happen? You going to die? You going to die? You know Father could raise you up from the dead, right? See, this is where trust comes in. This is where the rubber hits the road, brethren. We are being tested. Let me tell you something. Let me break this down for you. Donald Trump won the 2016 election. Okay. 306 electoral votes to Hillary Clinton's 232. And he won it by these Caucasian rednecks that came out of the suburbs at the last minute and put him in office. Listen carefully now. That's how he won. Go back and look at the video from 2016, the night of the election, in Michigan, in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, in Florida. Hillary Clinton was winning. Then all of a sudden, this large crew of Caucasians come from these suburbs that wouldn't have normally voted. And they voted. And Donald Trump was winning narrowly in Wisconsin. He won narrowly in Michigan. He won narrowly in Pennsylvania. He won narrowly in Florida. And he took them all. Okay, took them all. And no, watch. This time, it was completely 180-degree turn. What happened? Donald Trump was winning in Wisconsin, in Michigan, and in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, and in Georgia, and in Arizona, and in Nevada. He was winning. And all of a sudden, people started coming out of the larger cities. They came out of Detroit. and Flint. They came out of Milwaukee. They came out of Philly. They came out of Atlanta. They came out of Phoenix. They came out of Las Vegas. Who lives in them places, brethren? We do. We do. And all of a sudden, overwhelmingly, Biden wins the election. And look, 306 to 232. You think that was coincidence? Brothers and sisters, let me tell you, man, all of this is planned and orchestrated. They use the media to manipulate minds. They got it down to a science. Don't ever think they don't have PhDs in psychology by the hundreds studying this stuff and knowing how human beings react and understanding what they need to do. Don't ever think that these things are not planned. They're completely planned. So now it's the black man that put Biden in office, right? Right, wait, watch now. And he said, this is what Biden said now. He said, you put me in office. You remembered me, he said, and I'm going to remember you. Brethren, that's when we have a problem. Listen, trust not in oppression. This is the same Joe Biden that pushed for the 3 strikes law, that put millions of brothers in jail for life for nonviolent crime. I met a lot of them. I used to do ministries in jail. I used to go there every week. And I met a lot of them that was going away for 120 months, 150 months, 180 months for possession. Possession of weed. Maybe they had 5-10 pounds of weed. Maybe they had some cocaine. I met one brother, wife, 2 kids. He was trying to hustle. We was in New Hampshire. Wasn't a lot of work for brothers in New Hampshire. And he started slinging. I'm not condoning slinging, but he was trying to sling to take care of his wife and his 2 kids. He got busted once, possession of cocaine. Got busted twice, possession of cocaine. The 3rd time, check it out. They caught him with an ounce of cocaine and about an ounce of weed. 150 months. And they were talking life. He had to negotiate for the 150. They were talking life in prison. He never shot anybody. He never killed anybody. He never stabbed anybody. He never robbed anybody. He was trying to feed his family. That brother's still in jail. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you. Okay. I went to a conference. I'm 50 years old at this time. See, now I'm 60, just about 60 now. Gonna be 60 soon. I'm 50 years old. 49, 50, something like that. I remember when I was 20 something, I was up for this job. I had worked on Wall Street, got a degree in finance. My dream was at that time, to work on Wall Street. I went down there, I was going to work on the trading desk. I was excited. I was interviewed. They called me back, they interviewed me on the phone, and they called me back for a second interview. Now I'm hyped. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this job. When I walked into the office, of course, everybody's staring at me. Because you see, I'm light skinned, right? But I must look like a black dot to them because there wasn't nobody else of any color at the trading desk. And I walked in and they had me interview with a brother. And he said, we can't hire you. Why? You need an MBA. You need a master's. He said, when you get a master's, come back and see me because we get you a job. I didn't get the master's. I'm a militant prophet. I said, screw y'all, I'm going to go on my own. And I did. And had a business prospered, then failed. So now I'm going for my 2nd degree because I've decided I want to go for a doctoral degree. That's what I had decided at the time. I'm going to get a PhD, probably in economics, maybe finance. And at that time, as it so happens, Pete Morwick, one of the big accounting firms, I think it was Pete Morwick, I can't remember now, but they were sponsoring African prospects or African candidates for PhDs to go to a conference about Black PhDs. I went. They paid for me to go. They chose me to go. I went. It was in Chicago, And I went there. There must have been about 100 other brothers and sisters there. And when I started talking and mingling with them, they all had MBAs. I didn't have one yet, but they all had MBAs. They were all in deep tens of thousands of dollars of debt, tens of thousands. And if they went to a HBCU as an undergrad, and then they went out and got the MBA after that, they was in six-figure debt. Okay, six-figure. If they went to a private college, like if they went to Howard or they went to Hampton, six-figure debt when they come out of there. And they went and got MBA because they were told, like I was told, we'll get the MBA, you're gonna be all right. All of them were struggling. MBAs. Okay. And they figured, just like I figured, well, maybe if I get this doctorate, maybe I'll get this doctorate. So I went back to school. My plan was to go back because I knew when you go to do a doctorate in finance or economics, y'all maybe not understand it, but you got to be an expert in mathematics. You got to be a mathematics expert. So I went back to school to get a degree in mathematics because I had been out of school so long. Here I am, 49, 50 years old. I've been out of school so long, I forgot a lot of stuff. So I went back to get a degree in applied mathematics, and I did it. I did it in a year and a half. And I was like, okay, now maybe I'll get this PhD. So when I saw that, though, I realized I was played. I was played. All of us was played. Because they would give you as much money as you need to go to school. And when you come out with that degree, you still going to be underpaid, except you're going to owe tens of thousands of dollars. It was a game. It was a setup. The system. You know that sister in Ohio this summer, when they started rioting behind George Floyd, they was rioting out of frustration. She was in Ohio, and she said, the game is rigged. No truer words have ever been spoken. The game was rigged. And I realized the game was rigged. And now I'm stuck. Because I'm like, I need to do something. I was now, I was now 40 grand to 30, 40 grand in debt. And I'm working in a bank as a branch manager, ain't making no money. And I'm deferring my loans. And I wasn't even, I met 150 people in Chicago in the same situation. And so I said, damn, I got to get another degree. And they threw the money at me. And I got a degree in technology. Now I'm working in tech now. Okay. But hundreds of thousands of debt. Same thing happened to my wife, my two daughters, and my son. Okay. Now my youngest boy and my oldest daughter, undergrad, they had scholarships. And so they were able to, but my oldest daughter wanted to get her master's because I taught them what I was taught. I get a master's. And she's in debt for that. So our family's in debt, right? It was a setup. The whole thing was a setup. It was bad. So all these people I had talking about, y'all know what you're doing. You borrowed money, you got to pay it back. It makes me mad because I'll be like, y'all a trip, man. Y'all set us up to get us in debt. And it goes back to sharecropping. When they did the Emancipation Proclamation, they kept us in chains by debt. And I realized they're always oppressing us, brethren. So here comes Joe Biden. And they're talking about forgiving student debt. And I think they might do it, right? But if they do it, they're going to act like this is the reparations you're supposed to have gotten. I'm trying to tell you. That's where this is headed. Don't trust the oppressor. Don't trust the oppressor. If they offer this cancellation of student debt, shoot, I'm taking it. But I also know there's a game behind it. Don't trust the oppressor. You know what happened, in brothers and sisters? The sister that I got the video, some of y'all seen it. She was in Ohio and they asked her about what's going on. And in like 5 minutes, she broke down 400 years of oppression, man. She broke it down so well. Nobody could have spoken like that. That's why I said she prophesied. She prophesied. That sister prophesied. And one of the things she said, and it's true, if they leave us alone, right? If they really leave us alone, like when they did separate but equal and they left us alone, what you get? Rosewood, Tulsa, Black Wall Street, Wilmington. When they leave us alone, we prosper. But when they see we prosper, They destroy it. They destroy it. Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, destroy. Wilmington, destroy. Rosewood, destroy. And I can name many other cities. They did the same thing. Because they're not going to leave you alone. We are prophesied to be oppressed by our enemies, and we're going to continue to do that. So I'm getting ready to tell you what's getting ready to happen. They're going to do this vaccine. This COVID's going to be under control. Okay, Mr. Biden's gonna come in and do something, and he's gonna tell you, you're gonna cancel your student debt. He's gonna do a few other things, and they're gonna act like they gave us the reparations. Like, okay, we hooked y'all up now. Then they're gonna try to dog us again. Don't trust the oppressor. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Trust not in oppression. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. Brothers and sisters, we're in Babylon, just like Daniel was in Babylon. We in Babylon. Okay. Daniel did not trust in the Babylonian government. He served his God while he was in the Babylonian government. Daniel was a high official in the Babylonian government. And then the following government after that, the Medes government after that, and the Persian government after that. But he never trusted those people. He trusted Yah and his word. Because Daniel was shown what the prophecies were, and he knew what it meant. Okay, we have been shown. We have got all of this history. The word is the history of the Israelite. That means it's you and my history. Okay, we've got all this, and then recent history. We done seen already what happened in the Civil War. We done seen what happened at Rosewood. We know about Oklahoma. And check it out. Check it out. Just like with FDR. When his rich buddies told him, why are you giving them all this New Deal stuff? And he said, if we don't, there's going to be a revolution. Because he had just witnessed a few decades before, they just had the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia. And they did not want that here. Well, look, let me tell you something right now. At first, we was getting ready to do revolution. The black people were rising up, and brown people and Spanish people were rising up under George Bush. What they do? They brought Barack Obama. And we was like this, and then all of a sudden, we're back like this. Barack Obama was coming. And I was like that too. I ain't gonna front. I had never voted for a Democrat before or since. I didn't trust them. I still don't. Malcolm X said we should be independent. Okay. If all of the power we did to put this devil in office right here, if we imagine all of that power from all of those cities, if that came together and we had our own political party, what kind of work would we do? It's never going to happen. But I'm just saying, imagine that though. We put this devil in office. It was us that did it. Anyway, Malcolm X said vote independent. I had never voted Democrat, but daggone, I ain't gonna front. I wanted to see a black man in office. I did. I wanted to hear a white man look at him and say, Mr. President. So, for the first time, I voted for a Democrat. I ain't even care what his policies was. I ain't even care. The highlight was watching him and Michelle get out that limousine and have George Bush say, welcome to the White House, Mr. President. And I wanted to see it again in 2012. But I'm telling you, I was taken. Just like Malcolm said, I was hoodwinked. I was bamboozled. Okay. And so this past year, with this COVID killing us, and then they killing our brothers in the street like they've been doing, and we all in debt, revolution was getting ready to happen. It still might. They scared of that. That's what the sister said. She said, what we care about your Walmart, your Target, we don't own this. We don't own anything. And when we do, you'll destroy it. That's what she said. And she's telling the truth. Sister was telling the truth. And so they're getting ready to do New Deal Part 2 to stop the next revolution from coming. So that we go back to this. And let me tell you something. That's no problem. No, you know why it's no problem? Because when Messiah returns, they're going to have a problem. Nothing will stop that revolution. So I'm telling you, the COVID is getting ready to get under control. Couple months, maybe in the spring, it's going to be under control. They're letting it go crazy now because they want people to beg for the vaccine. That's all. That's what they're doing. They want you to beg for it. And when you get it, you're going to be so happy because it's going to work and you're not going to be sick. And that's going to happen. I don't know what the side effects are going to be, but that's the point. Okay? Don't trust in oppression. Because that's what we get, oppressed. We are being tested. There's only one government for us to trust, brethren. If you know the truth, it's the government of Yah. It's his government. That's the only one for us to put our trust in. I'm not saying we're supposed to ride in the street. I understand brothers doing that because it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating. People suffering. I understand that. Okay? But at the same time, trust in his word. Trust in the Father's Spirit. Trust in Messiah. That's all we can trust in. Don't trust the oppressor. He's never for you. And if it appears he is, behind his back, there's a hammer or a gun or something to hurt you. Don't trust the oppressor. And I'm telling you right now, they're going to do something to keep us quiet. I'm trying to tell you. And even though I'm saying it, I already know people are still going to forget. I'm trying to tell you. Because when you're under so much pressure, when you under so much oppression, when you suffer, when you get a little bit of relief, you're just so happy, right? Brethren, don't trust them. Don't trust them. They hate you. Biden he don't care about you. Trump don't care about you. Biden don't care about you. They're just using us. So whatever they give you, take it. When they cancel your student debt, take it. Whatever money they're giving you, take it. That ain't even enough to pay you what they owe you. Take what they give you. But don't trust them. Don't trust them. Okay? And don't trust these coon, bootlegging entertainers that put all their trust in either Trump like Kanye or Biden like whoever. Don't. Entertainers are not our leaders, brethren. They sing and dance. They act. They entertain and they get paid well for it. But they're not our leaders. Yah is our leader. And he has appointed Yahushua as king of this planet. And it's about to come to pass. But he needs us to pass the test of Job, to pass the test of Adam, to pass the test Messiah went through. He needs us to trust him and pass these tests because we get ready. We're getting tested. Okay? So my prayer for you, brethren, and I ask for your prayers for me, that I pass the test and that you pass the test. And that no matter what they do in the next 4 years, put your trust in Yah. Put it in them. There's other stuff coming. COVID was just one thing, but there's other stuff coming. But if we put our trust in Yah, we have nothing to worry about. He's going to keep us. Listen, we've been going through this for never mind 400 years, 2,000 plus years. Okay, we've been going through this for a minute. Okay, and we ain't got that much more time left. I'm trying to tell you, not that much more time left. Trust the Father. Trust his word. Trust Messiah. Live by his spirit of righteousness, and you will be fine. Okay, you will. Pray for me that I'll be faithful. And I'm praying for all of you across the world, all the scattered Israelites and all the grafted in Israelite, that you be faithful. Be faithful unto the end, brethren, and you will receive a crown of life very soon. Okay? Shalom.